Alright guys, Hatch coming again today. Hope you're doing good and enjoying your day so far after Crimsix gave his take on Shotzzy versus HyDra, who is the better and more impactful player in the CDL right now. Shotzzy responds to what the greatest of all time statistically had to say on the situation, arguing that sure, while Shotzzy may be a very unselfish player in multiple instances, Shotzzy also still giving credit to HyDra for the way that he plays, but admitting that Shotzzy will do whatever it takes and has continued to learn as such to make OpTic have the success that they are trying to have this season. Very much enjoying your thoughts on all this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Couple of things, obviously today actually, I guess this is when the team packs are officially arriving into the game. Not the best things I've ever seen, although I will say, did a Valorant video earlier today where we were discussing the team packs in Valorant. And they have literally copied what COD did a few years ago, but done it even worse. You guys remember like Cold War, when everything was the same, they changed the colours? That's basically what Valorant have done. So these COD packs might not be the best, but they're not the worst in esports, I would say, overall. So I guess that's something, but it's not exactly great. And obviously Awakening's talking about it as well for Boston, because fair play to Boston, they've actually done something kind of interesting. Their stuff is kind of nice. I like the colours they've gone for, and they've produced something relatively unique this year compared to what other teams have done. So shout out Boston Breach for that one. Not running an event this year. Unfortunate, love the Boston event, but it was always in January, so it was freezing cold. So maybe, you know, it's okay. I'll go to Madrid happily at the end of the month. Saw this floating around today as well, and any opportunity to talk about Black Ops 3, you know that I'm going to take it. But yeah, just to show, I know that there's inflation probably associated here. So when MW came out, the $640 million is probably worth a little bit different to when BO3 came out back in 2015, but still, whatever, ignore that. And even without accounted for, it doesn't really make up for this. Black Ops 3 cost $450 million to make. That is quite a lot of money, but it did sell 43 million copies. So, you know, that return is the best that we have seemingly ever seen in Call of Duty. Even MW19, a game that was actually, unfortunately, in some people's eyes, the revival of Call of Duty, with Warzone coming along as well at the same time, and of course the pandemic happening, and, you know, big year for Call of Duty. Not the best game ever. It cost $640 million to make, and it sold 41 million copies. And then, you know, Cold War, for example, 700 million to make the year after, and then sold 30 million. So, ain't bad, but it's not Black Ops 3, you know. Nothing is going to live up to that one. Now, this was very interesting going around. I saw this, and I wasn't exactly sure what Hex was guessing at, but I think I've kind of figured it out. Now, I'm not familiar with this particular case. I do follow racing relatively closely. You guys may know that I've got a channel talking about all things Formula 1, and Formula 1's actually mentioned here in this, well, seemingly lawyer-written statement. So the court is discussing NASCAR. Basically, the idea is that should stock car racing be 100% monopolized by NASCAR as an entity. And that seems to be what this, well, the suit is alleging. So NASCAR possesses monopoly power in the relevant market, which is the market for premier stock car racing teams in the US. NASCAR's Cup Series is the only premier stock car racing series in the US. And premier stock car racing is a distinct form of automobile racing, different from other open wheel sports, F1, IndyCar, whatever. Therefore, NASCAR fully controls which race teams can compete at the highest level of stock car racing. Effectively, it has 100% market share. So you might think why, but then it may have clicked for some of you that I think what Hex is referring to here is the Call of Duty League suit that he and Scump and maybe others, but certainly they brought against Activision Blizzard. So it was kind of unclear what's happening with this suit. We know that it went to arbitration, as in it's basically going to be dealt with behind closed doors. There have been maybe one or two updates on the situation since then, but we've not really heard all that much on it. It's not so clear whether it's resolved now, whether they came to, you know, a settlement figure, but we also know that Scump was not allowed to play in the kickoff tournaments in Black Ops 6. They are allowing him to watch party, but Scump said this on stream, I think, that he's not allowed to play. The speculation would be that Activision has said, you know what, while this lawsuit's going on, at least you're not gonna, you know, basically compete for anything which involves our money. So I still think there's something to this happening right now, and effectively what Hex was alleging is that the Call of Duty League had an unlawful monopoly over which teams were in the league in this particular instance. So I think what HECZ is doing is saying, look, this precedent in NASCAR on the fact that a court has found that they have monopoly power for these reasons, there is maybe an argument to say that what HECZ had to say in the suit carries some weight in a court of law as well. So this will be interesting to see if this goes anywhere, because of course Activision responded. It all happened middle of February last year, of course, in 2024. And there's been a few developments since then, but mostly it's been silence. So I'm sure HECZ is having a word with some of his lawyers to see if there's anything they can do with this in terms of what's gone on in the Call of Duty League as well. But let's dive into a couple of clips here. Shotzzy has been at it again, obviously, over the last couple of days, but mainly the big discussion point of yesterday was Shotzzy versus HyDra. In terms of SMGs this season, those are the two MVP candidates on paper. Gwinn might even be up there as well if Ravens keep playing as they are, but, you know, I doubt that Ravens can maintain this forever. It's only a couple of weeks into the season. Simp is always going to be in and around the convo. I think he's been FaZe's best player, but FaZe, as we said earlier today, just might not be very good at the moment. So the two real SMG candidates for MVP, obviously CleanX might be in the mix as well, but it's Shotzzy and HyDra. Realistically, it's Shotzzy and HyDra. Obviously, Pred would have been there as well, and maybe Huke will be good, but he won't be Shotzzy good, is my feeling. So it's the battle between those two. Kremp gave his thoughts on it yesterday and basically said, as far as he's concerned, Shotzzy is the better player in a roundabout way. He said that HyDra's the better, maybe individually, in terms of statistics. HyDra's going to put up more numbers. In terms of the map, he's going to be more impactful from like an individual perspective. But in terms of what he does for the team, Shotzzy clears on that front. Now, I will say, I didn't really say this yesterday, but there is probably some bias in playing Crimsix's discussion here. I don't think his take is unfair. I think you've just got to recognise that Kremp played with Shotzzy, had a great time with Shotzzy generally, won the World Championship with Shotzzy, and now has recently just rejoined OpTic. So, you know, it's OpTic Kremp again nowadays. He's more likely to gas up the OpTic player than a non-OpTic player. And also we know that his relationship with HyDra when he was on the subliners, yes, they won an event together, they didn't win the World Championship together, and we also know that HyDra and Kremp didn't always see eye to eye for a large period of time there, and there was lots of drama as a consequence. So I think Kremp's perspective is always going to have some degree of bias, but is his analysis still reasonable? I think so. So we already said yesterday, this is what Shotzzy has to say about it today.
That's obviously good gas, and I mean, that's kind of like literally, at least my play style, like it's kind of team oriented. That's kind of why, like, yeah, I guess you could say like the quote-unquote consistency is not like absurd, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I won't have 1.2s, 3s every consistent match simply because like that's just not, like that's not my play style. Like obviously I want to get kills, yes, but my fucking gameplay is not just based off kills. I like kind of literally what he said. Like I try to make it easier on everyone, and obviously like the balance between figuring out when to play selfish, believe it or not, is like at first whenever I came to COD, it was hard to figure that out because I'm really unselfish. I will do anything. I'll go in first. I'll do anything. I'll do the dirty shit. I promise you I will. But yeah, I think that like when I first joined the league was my biggest downfall because of the fact that I didn't know like the difference between like being selfish, and there are times where it's actually really good to be selfish, believe it or not. But I mean, but the way that Paco plays, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like we're both really similar. Not that like Paco isn't team oriented, he definitely is. Like I feel like a lot of people made it seem like he's not a team player. He is a team player. He just has like a different play style, I guess, at moments.
So Shotzzy again, I think, proving why he's one of the best personalities in the league, because he says, yeah, I'll take the gas. It's very good gas, but also gives credit to HyDra as well, because it's not black and white. You know, it's not like either you are an individual player or you are a team player. Either you are playing for kills or you are not. There's always a mix of it, and Shotzzy says that himself. Certainly when he came into the league, it's difficult to understand when do I need to play for kills, when do I need to try and help the team. And it's a difficult balance to manage, and obviously Shotzzy is confident that he's getting it right at this point. But other players find themselves in a different part of that spectrum, right? Shotzzy is at a point where he is, at least in his opinion, more team orientated than individual orientated. HyDra is probably somewhere slightly else along that continuum, where HyDra's more maybe individual than he is team. But it's not like he's not a team player. It's not like HyDra's not trying to win for the team. Obviously he is, and he's a world champion for a very good reason. Most of the reason was that he was the best individual player in the world. But, you know, obviously there is an element to that, and there are some players that play very much for themselves, and some players that play very much for the team. And none of those are necessarily good nor bad. It's more so, how does that player's play style mesh with the way that they want to play the game? Because, you know, everyone has their own kind of decision-making processes to go through and own strengths and weaknesses. And some players will be better off playing in a certain way, other players better off playing in a different way, and they can be equally impactful as a result. So I thought it was nice for Shotzzy to say, yeah, look, very unselfish, I'll do everything that a team needs me to do to win, and also kind of admitting as a consequence that his numbers are not going to be as consistent as maybe someone like HyDra. Now, of course, having said that, his numbers so far in the league this season are incredibly good, Shotzzy, and in all the series he's played, he's been, well, I mean, look, his consistency isn't outrageous, because one series he had a 1.9, the next series only a 1.4, so, you know, this guy's washed, and then the most recent series a 1 flat, but they still won. And that, of course, being critical. I think this is the question though, right? Because you look at Shotzzy's cards. His card last season was excellent. These were his overall numbers. But, you know, his numbers weren't on the level of, let's say, HyDra's overall numbers. But, of course, he won the World Championship, and in the end, HyDra didn't. They lost in the Grand Final. So we just saw that one, 91 overall. Just, I've gone to New York again, thinking HyDra's still there. That ain't true anymore. He's now in the Los Angeles Thieves. But if we look at HyDra's card, for example, from last year on the Breaking Point sites, we will find it looks something like this. And, you know, it's Shotzzy's numbers in some regards, but just a little bit better. But of course, that season, team results a little bit worse. This year, who knows? Because now HyDra's on a better team. And, you know, it's pretty scary, I would say, for the competition to have a look at. So intuitive your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with Kremp's perspective? What do you think about Shotzzy's response? And just one final thing to mention, we were discussing this on the Dope Check show last night, kind of shocking retirements from competitive Call of Duty. What's the most shocking? I thought about this for a while, and I thought it's got to be Octane, I think. The way that Octane retired, the circumstances around it, you know, having just won the World Championship the previous year, probably playing his best ever COD, and then calling it a day. Most other retirements were kind of foreseen. The Methods one was pretty surprising. Like, I didn't know it was going to be happening until, obviously, when he walked out on stage, I was like, oh, you know, it was pretty clear what was going to happen there when he walked out on stage in front of the crowd in Boston. So that was kind of shocking, but given the circumstances, it wasn't maybe massively surprising. In Octane's case, it was more so the likes of Clay, Kremp, and even Scump. I think their retirements were kind of foreseen. The Formula one was surprising, and, you know, to some extent. And the Scump one was also very dramatic in the sense of he'd announced that he was going to retire at the end of the season, but then he retired a month into the season with all sorts of controversy surrounding it. So I think Octane probably takes the cake. I saw some interesting responses though. For example, this one saying even Zuma was pretty shocking, of course, when he had to step away. And even in recent times, Vickle, I guess, right? Not a player that was too much on my radar, but him coming out and just saying, yeah, I'm done, was definitely kind of came out of nowhere, right? So intuitive your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.
I swear to God on my mother's life, and I don't know how I got this habit. I really don't know how, but oh my God, you guys are gonna fucking cry. But bro, I sleep with my ass out, dude. And like, you're gonna be like, whoa, what do you mean? Bro, I put my boxers underneath my like ass. I don't know, dude. I don't know why. I swear to God. I don't know why. I swear to God. And I don't know, bro. It just it randomly happened last year, bro. I know that's funny, but I don't know why I do it. So that's the only reason I'd be tweaking on myself with on. Cause like, bro, I'm telling you, dude. Like, let's just say like I forget type shit. I turn around. You know what I'm saying? It's so weird because I used to never do this, dude. I used to never have my ass out ever. Like, and I don't know. It's just cozy, bro. I don't know what it is, dude. You could have kept that one in the chamber, big dog. No. I had to tell y'all. That was one that I had to tell, just in case, like, I do the subathon and you just see like you just see ass, like.